What's up, family? Welcome back. It's interesting that we see similar traits passed down throughout history where you can look at something and say, my goodness, how did we get here? Or when did this happen? Only to find out that for hundreds or maybe thousands of years before, the same thing was going on. We just didn't know about it. I remember a story from the good book. Those of you who grew up in and around the church will remember the story of Samson and Delilah. Samson was a man that one of the judges of Israel that God used to help protect Israel from he judged Israel. He was a judge, but he also at times when the enemy would come, God's spirit will fall on him in a way that he became extremely strong and was a handful to deal with. And the enemy saw his strength and wanted to find a way to subdue him. So what did they use? They used a woman. And they told a woman, we will pay you a high amount of silver, whatever it was. We will pay you an extreme amount of silver if you convince Samson to tell you where does his where is the secret of his power. And if you can do that, we'll give you some money, a lot of money. I want you to think about that. So she gets all in his face and flirts with him and messes with him and talks to him and try to get him to tell his secret. And of course, he's not paying attention. He's not picking up. He's buying her story. But I want you to remember, she's only there for money. She's only there for money. Now watch this. She said, how can a man, and I can't remember, it was like 3 or 4 situations, but she said to him, you're so strong, just feeding that ego. You're so strong. You're so big. You're so manly. If a man wanted to overtake you, what would he have to do? And this is her talking to him. So he made up some stuff. If you tie me up with a certain type of rope, I won't be able to get free, and they'll be able to take me. And then, she waited till he fell asleep. She lulled him to sleep and screamed out to the guys that was waiting in the other room, Samson, Samson, blah, blah, blah. They're here. She wanted to see what was going on. They're trying to get you. He jumped up, broke the ropes. She realized he was lying. You know what she had the audacity to tell him? Listen to this, right? She said, you can't love me. You tricked me. That's what Delilah said to Samson. Now she the one playing the trick, and she tells Samson, you can't love me. You tricked me. If you love me, you would tell me the truth. And she did that charade 3 or 4 times. What is the secret of your power? If you braid my hair, do it this way. And every time she would yell out, they're here, they're going to get you. He would jump up, break free, do whatever it was that he lied about. There she go. You tricking me. Tired of this. Can you believe that the trick is telling him, you tricking me? She is the trick. She playing the trick. Until finally one time, the book says that He had got tired of her asking, and he told her the truth. It's in my hair. If you shave my hair, I'll have the strength of just a regular man. And she caused him to fall asleep in her lap. That's kind of wild. I thought to myself, I wonder if that's the Bible way of saying what I think it says, but you can't, I don't know. I can't go back. You know, 'cause every generation got a way of saying something. You know, like now we say the box. If somebody would have read that 1,000 years ago or 1,000 years from now, they're not going to have no idea what we're talking about. That's just the way words and language change, right? So now you be like, oh man, she giving up the box for free. Well, we can say that in 2025, but 100 years from now, when somebody go back and read that in the books, Tasha gave up the box to Timothy for what in the world are they talking about? So I just wonder sometimes with the Bible language and code, he felt that his head was in her lap. I'm like, they were wild back then. I tell you what, that sounds kind of wild to me. But anyway, y'all know, y'all got that active imagination like I got. Y'all wild back them days. But it makes sense though. Bro. Good gracious. Put him to sleep in her lap. Yelled out again. This time his power was gone. And I'm thinking, women been tricked. That was 3,000 years ago. 3,000 years ago, in the name of money, she got in Samson's face and finessed him to find out what's really going on. She wasn't interested in him. That's what I want. That's the point that I want to get to my men and to those that are watching about the society that we live in and the way that things are and how sometimes we can't even be aware that these things have been going on for thousands of years. This was 3,000 years ago. She had no interest in Samson. Zero interest. But some people showed up with a large sum of money, and then she began to finesse Samson and trick him out of his true power. And we the same way today if we not careful. If we get caught up, I'm trying to help some young men now. If we get caught up in how a woman looks, if we get caught up in her shape, if we get caught up in her talk and in her speech, if we get caught up in how she can lull us to sleep in her lap, whatever you think that means, we wake up one day and realize we ain't got no power. We wake up one day and realize she has stripped us down. We have nothing. No purpose. We have nothing. Given everything that we had because we got tricked by a woman. And this go both ways. Women can get tricked by a man. Give everything you got. Your best days. You ever heard that expression? I gave him my best years. Yeah. You get married young like me at 20 and then divorced at 40. Somebody could say that my ex gave me her best years. I could say I gave her my best years. When I went in, I was young in my prime. When I came out, I'm almost a middle-aged man. Yeah. We think this stuff just happened recently? Nah. This stuff been going on thousands of years. Men and women tricked for some money. Yeah, I just seen a reel yesterday where a girl was on TikTok, Instagram, one of them, talking about she made $1,500 for laying on her back for 3 minutes. Yeah, trick. So anyway, that was just my thoughts for the day. We think this stuff just happened now. This stuff been going on at least 3,000 years, man. Delilah showed us all. I know how to get in a man's face and finesse him for everything he's got. He don't even see it coming. And then she the one that had the audacity to tell him, why you tricking me when she and listen now, listen. This dude Samson was so gone in his thinking. If you ask me a question, Professor X, what makes you so strong? Well, it's the water I drink. So then you change the water to Kool-Aid, and then you wake me up and calling out my enemies to come get me. And you do that once and twice, and I'm still not paying attention to what you're doing, and then you come and tell me I'm tricking you, and I'm so blown away with how you look and how you make me feel and how you caress my head while it was in your lap. They've been doing it. Finally, when they finally got him, they poked his eyes out. Y'all know the story, the ones that know. They poked his eyes out, had a party, made fun of him. And at that party, he asked the Lord, if you give me strength one more time, I'll do what I'm supposed to do. And the whole time his hair was growing back, nobody was paying attention to it, so his power was returning. And the book says that he pushed the pillars apart that they had him chained to. I think he had a young boy, if I remember. He had some lad or some little boy take him to the pillars and pushed them apart and killed everybody, including himself. But he lost everything he had because he didn't pay attention to the trick. Hope this helps somebody. Share it. Pay attention to these tricks on both sides. Now, I told that from a male perspective of how a male was handled, but on both sides, people getting tricked. And you end up losing everything you got. You know you're getting tricked. They telling you. You hear them screaming. They calling your enemies after they ask you how to get you. They not even faking it. They're not even trying. You see, tie me up with strong ropes, and then you wake up, you got ropes around you. When you trying to get me killed, and you still gonna tell her the truth? But a woman can do that. Yeah, that's why I told the story that way. A woman can convince a woman with a nice shape and pretty eyes, pretty smile, pretty lips. She could convince a man to do just about anything. You know how many men are unalive today over a female? Do you know how many men are unalive today over a female? There are some women that'll go do some get back action, but you rarely hear of that as much as you do what men will do over a female. Even growing up in high school, you found out some dude was talking to your girlfriend. You gotta step to him now because it done got out around the school. So you already know on lunch or PE or gym, you gotta say something. You already know you're gonna get suspended because you gotta take it to him. You just gotta do it. And then 20 years later, 30 years later, y'all don't even 5 years later, y'all don't even communicate no more. 2 years later, you don't even men do some crazy stuff. But anyway, that's just what's on my mind today. This stuff been going on for 3,000 years. Mm-mm-mm. Let's talk about it in the comments. Y'all be good.